Inspired by Virtua Fighter 2, Tekken decided to go fully ham in 1994, but I feel like when I played this game a lot more, I realized how bad it is, to be honest. I don't really enjoy how much of the rendering there is for the characters. Each of them really felt like they were just rough with the animation, rough with the background, rough with the ideas to try and make it into a proper 3D match. I mean, Virtua Fighter just couldn't even compete between Virtua Fighter and Tekken. I mean, all day, every day, I would choose Virtua Fighter 1 and 2 over Tekken 1. But again, I think it was a okay experience to play Tekken. With Tekken 2, at least I saw some improvements on the animation and also on the character rendering. It's a lot smoother, it's a lot more focused, but at the same time I still had slight issues with the game speed, glitchy sidesteps with the animation for the attacks that people do based on Nina or like Lei Wulong, and also there wasn't a lot of movement to it. I mean, it was still a bit rough around the edges, but I guess for the last 10 years I've played this game, I still think that Tekken 1 and 2 still wasn't all that good. I mean, I'd happily choose Virtua Fighter 2 over Tekken 1 and 2 to be precise. But in the next Tekken sequel, there's a new character replacing Kazuya Mishima and has a fighting style like Jun Kazama. Honestly, we're in for something new on this one. The son of Jun Kazama, Jin Kazama. During the progress of the game, there were differences between the renderings for the arcade and PS1 for Tekken 3. With that being said, there was full-on rendering on the arcade system, but in the PS1 is like of JPEGs, and then also you're put in this little cube, though it makes it look real, but really it just makes it seem like everyone was in a box fighting. But it was something that was so beautiful about it. There were new animations in the table, including the throws, including the kicks, and also includes all the new sidesteps that were added into the 3D game. It was brand new, and new characters in the scene. Tekken 3 added some different modes such as survival mode, Tekken Ball mode, and Tekken Force mode. It was new. The new character select for Tekken 3 was insane. Like, some of it just felt more real, and comparing it to Tekken 2, at least it had its own style of character select in terms of the character's artwork and the rendering. But the difference between Tekken 2 and Tekken 3 fighting game was a night and day difference. I fell in love with it.
Oh my god! Wow!
So the story takes place 15 years after the last tournament, when Heihachi defeated Kazuya to claim the Mishima Zaibotsu and threw him into the mouth of a volcano. Although later on you see in Eddie's ending that Kazuya is actually still alive. So then there's a new monster in the scene, a new boss, which honestly, damn, it was freaky. This monster defeated most of the Tekken 2 characters after the Tekken 2 tournament. Next thing you know, there's a new big boss that just happens to be around in the ancient ruins in Mexico. I mean, seriously, with a monster that big, what could possibly go wrong with that? Oh wait, I forgot, she's alive. So Jin Kazama participates in the tournament to then reach his way into the final so then he can gain revenge with a monster called Ogre, who eventually killed his mother from the looks of it, but in the story she said it was missing rather than killed, so that's what happened really. Fun fact about that story, Paul Phoenix actually reached to the final and defeated Ogre, but eventually True Ogre evolved and Paul Phoenix didn't know. He carried on just walking away thinking he won the whole tournament. The thing is with that scene, Ogre actually killed King 1, but King is already in the game, but it's actually King 2, which is kind of an interesting fact as well. Another thing about that story is that Michelle Chang, who wasn't in the game, so instead Julia Chang came in, Michelle's pendants was fully awoken by Ogre. That's what Heihachi used to awake Ogre. That was crazy. In the intro scene of Nina Williams being put in this test tube, basically she was in a cold sleep projected by Boskonovich and woke up in a Cyro sleep. She suffered heavy amnesia after failing to capture Kazuya to assassinate him in King of Iron Fist Tournament 2, and her sister was sparred, which means that she was also controlled by Ogre, who sent her to participate in the tournament to assassinate Jin instead. Seriously, look how overpowered these two characters are in this game. I mean, if that doesn't say enough, watch this.
God damn!
But seriously, Ogre was a different breed in this game. He was something that you did not want to mess with, especially in that ultra hard mode. Like seriously, he was a nightmare to go against. That time, when it comes to these bosses, they're no joke, they were actually hard work. Progressing towards the final, Jin finally goes head to head with his mother's killer, true Ogre. And with that being said, he finally defeated him. And that was the end of the tournament. However, something bad really happened to him, and it happened fast. So all this time you're going to sit here and tell me you learned Jin how to use the Mishima style fighting in a mixture of the Kazama fighting, and then you just use him to defeat Ogre and then just kill him? Damn, that's betrayal right there. So after the conclusion of the story mode, you get to play Tekken Force mode, and it was a brand new game mode which was so much fun, but I kind of feel like it lacked a bit more 3D dynamics with the background. I kind of hoped that they did more to it. If they were able to render stuff physically on the arcade mode, then surely they should do it on the Tekken Force mode, right? But then again, this was a different level. This was on a PS1, so I can understand why they wouldn't do this. To take your mind off serious fighting, there's Tekken Ball, which is another fun game to play. Honestly, I played this with my brother, and I played this with a couple of friends. I honestly thought this was the most fun I could get into. And besides, there are a lot of things that I really admire so much about this game. You could have serious moments and you could have non-serious moments. Now, there were some Easter eggs in this game. Basically, there was this stage where it includes Ling Xiaoyu and Jin in school suits, and also the Mishima school. Another thing is that you get to play secret characters such as the Tekken Force armies that are in the game, which I found it to be hilarious. And on top of that, there was also characters like Tiger, who you could play with Eddie. You just have to play the run and then Gon, that little dinosaur. I remember the animation that he is from. But outside of that, it blew me away when I heard there were so many copies that were released, and I'll put it in the screen now. It was amazing to see how much they sold worldwide through arcade and through copies as well. So with that being said, Tekken 3 will go down as one of the greatest games of all time, and I love this game, alongside Tekken 5 as well, and Tekken 4. So yeah, make sure you check it out. Make sure you go and visit the game. It's definitely a classic.